Japanese people, reggae music, and Jamaican athletes in the same place, pure vibes.
Watch over shoulders tonight and help us live our lives tomorrow. Let's not forget where we're from. Father, show us the way to go.
Have you ever seen a culture fall in love with another so deeply it almost feels like destiny? That is exactly what happened when Japan met Jamaica. From the streets of Kingston to the cities of Yokohama and Osaka, reggae and dancehall didn't just travel, they thrived. Japan didn't just copy the sound, they embraced the soul behind it. What started as a fascination in the late 1970s after the rise of Bob Marley has now become one of the most powerful examples of cultural appreciation in the modern world. When you see Japanese artists waving Jamaican flags, building massive sound systems, and winning global competitions, you realize this is more than music. It's love, it's connection, it's proof that cultures can unite rather than divide. So, let's take a deeper look at how Japan turned admiration into one of the most inspiring cultural bridges in the history.
Book me a one-way flight to Japan, because I've just found out that Japan has an underground dancehall and reggae scene which is absolutely killing it right now. Honestly, this has to be by far my favorite cultural crossover of all time, because let's be real, when I think of Japan, I think of sushi, I think of cherry blossoms. I don't think about Vybz Kartel and Shensia. But like most countries around the world, reggae was introduced to Japan through the sounds of Bob Marley, and music fans in the country quickly connected with his message of love and peace. The country's love of Jamaican culture actually grew so strong that it led to the introduction of these huge sound systems in the 1980s and the rise of world sound class champions Mighty Crown, who absolutely dominated the global reggae and dub scene for over 30 years. Japan's dancehall scene is now legendary, and it's being dominated by local artists and dancer Cornbread, who uses social media to share videos of him and his friends dancing, as well as promoting local Jamaican events in the country. His love of Jamaican culture has led to sold out events which look like absolute madness and the development of the scene on a mass scale. And because I know people are petty and will accuse him of some sort of appropriation, here's a video of him grabbing a wine on dancehall sensation Spice, because in my mind, if Spice is fine with it, everyone can be fine with it.
The wildest thing about Japan is not the food, it's not the culture, it's not the infrastructure, it's not the nature. Let me show y'all something. It's the people that are extremely obsessed with culture that they've never experienced. Dude, this is what I love about Japan, especially Osaka, bro. There's like a very intense group of people that love Jamaican culture. Don't know why, but look at this. Down in Jamaica, Jamaican, I guess, like reggae festival. Do these people look Jamaican to you? Here's another one. All of these people are like reggae artists. All right, these are not just the fans. There's more people that listen to this. All right, these are just the artists that are performing at the festival, and they have flyers. It's all in Japanese. They have a venue. They everything print. Like, how do they know about this? Bro, look at this one. They have a pamphlet. This is too much. This is too much. All in Japanese. They I guess this is a Japanese person with dreads on there. They got the flags and everything. Like, are they Rastafari? Like, how do they know what this is? I've actually seen like advertisements for dance hall competitions, bro. Like, I don't see, like, look, there's one. Look, the dreads look real. I mean, I guess they are real. Like, bro, they think they're Jamaican. They actually think they're Jamaican.
Japanese dancehall. What's going on here?
Japanese ninja, take where you get a quick fast light sprinter.
Okay.
Be money for 5 nalinga. Japanese Taliban cold like winter. Roll up the window, Rizla flight, don't blame the passenger.
He's got the tone.
Have a man in a list like Tokyo, Darkness senseless, killer catchy Japanese.
Style. What clad? I rate it, man. I rate the scene over there in Japan that's showing love to dancehall. Keep it up, man. I love seeing Jamaican cultures all around the world anyway. I just love seeing it spread further and further, man. I respect it, bro. Pause. Bomber clock. That was wicked.
Are you Rastafari?
Yeah, yes, I. From Japan?
From Japan?
Yes. My name is Atsushi. We come from Kurarendo, you know. Yeah, but stay town, you know. Me and study to Jam, Bengi. We can find a teacher in my country, you know. Yeah, that's why me coming to, you know. Yeah.
I've never seen a Japanese Rastafari before.
No, all pa elder there, you know.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. Me study from them too, you know.
In Jamaica?
In Japan, in Jamaica
Japan
too.
too?
They visit to Jamaica too, you know.
Japan's journey into reggae and dancehall began with one name, Bob Marley. His message of peace, love, and freedom resonated with a generation of Japanese youth searching for meaning in a rapidly modernizing society. By the 1980s, Japan had begun setting up huge sound systems just like the ones found in Jamaica. What followed was a subculture that didn't just imitate, it innovated. In 1999, a crew from Yokohama called Mighty Crown shocked the world by winning the World Clash in New York City, proving that Japan wasn't just a listener, it was a global player in reggae culture. Then in 2002, Junk Kudo became the first Japanese dancehall queen in Jamaica itself. That victory wasn't just personal, it was symbolic. It was, we see you, we love your art, and we are part of this movement too. Japan didn't take Jamaica's identity, it celebrated it. Now, today, Japanese reggae and dancehall community is legendary. From Tokyo to Osaka, from small underground clubs to massive festivals, the island rhythm has found a permanent home in Japanese hearts. You will see dancers like Cornbread, an icon who uses social media to spread the movement, organizing, sold-out dancehall events and promoting Jamaican culture with unmatched passion. His collaborations, even dancing with Jamaican stars like, Spice, show how cultural appreciation can create friendships and respect across oceans. And then there are artists like Conhead, Aiken, and Mune, blending dancehall rhythms with Japanese creativity. They didn't just borrow, they built something new. Now, guys, here's what makes this story so important. In a world where people often talk about cultural appropriation, Japan shows the other side. Cultural admiration. Before you borrow something from someone, you must love it. Japanese embrace of Jamaican culture proves that admiration can lead to growth, respect, and even, diplomatic bridges. When two distant nations connect through, art, they do more than exchange. They exchange understanding. This kind of cultural sharing has ripple effects. It inspires tourism, collaborations, fashion, and even global business. When Japan hosts reggae festivals, or even when Jamaica artists tour in Tokyo, it strengthens international relationships. It softens diplomacy through music. And let's be honest, the world needs more of this. Too often, people envy what others have instead of celebrating it. Envy creates walls, but admiration builds bridges. When Japan adopted reggae, they didn't try to change it. They learned its roots, the struggles, the stories, the spiritual depth of Rastafari culture. They respected its history. That is why the Jamaican community, for the most part, has welcomed them. And think about it. If a Japanese dancer like Cornbread can share a stage with Spice and the Jamaican crowd cheers, that's not appropriation. That's unity. That's love in action. In Osaka, you will find small streets decorated with Jamaican flags. Flyers written entirely in Japanese but filled with patois, phrases and reggae sound systems blasting through the night. You will see young people with dreadlocks, not to mock but to honor a style that represents pride, resilience and identity. What we are witnessing is global culture at its best. People learning, respecting and keeping the fire alive together. And that is what is needed for all of us, guys. Now, imagine if every culture did what Japan did with Jamaica's music. Imagine if instead of mocking, stealing, or claiming, we learned and loved. This would be different. We would have more peace, more friendships, and more creative collaborations, because that is the beauty of shared culture. It doesn't make us lose our identity, it expands it. So the next time someone questions why Japan is obsessed with dancehall, maybe the answer is simple: because love speaks every language, and reggae, it's the sound of love. That is the real message here. Not division, not imitation, but appreciation. Japan's reggae scene reminds us that humanity's best moments happen when we celebrate each other. If Japan and Jamaica, two nations with such different histories, languages, and geographies, can find common ground through, rhythm and soul, what's stopping the rest of the world? Guys, the truth is, culture isn't meant to be owned. It's meant to be shared, because when we share, we grow. And that is exactly what Japan has shown the world: how to take love for another culture and turn it into unity, artistry, and everlasting respect. That is what is needed for all of us, guys. Those people who normally say, why are they stealing our culture? People are not stealing your culture. People are seeing what you do and they're appreciating, they are loving it. That is why some of them, they will start imitating you. For instance, even in Africa, people love reggae music, people love Jamaica, but sometimes when we do this kind of content, you hear someone asking you, why are you talking about Jamaica? Why are you talking about this and that? It's because people love your culture. Guys, drop a comment. Let me know. What are your thoughts? Also, remember to subscribe, like, and share as well. And until next time, bye-bye.